In this lesson, we're going to show you how to take an existing piece of casework, cabinetry, cabinet, and create a dynamic array within a family, and then put a countertop on top of that. So what we're going to do, I have a family in my project here called Family 1. I'm just going to drag it in. I'm going to make sure I say place on work plane, and I'm going to pick a point and just kind of drag. I'll use my shift button to keep it nice and straight. Oh, maybe I'll go in this direction. And then pick, escape, escape. I can go SD shaded mode. So what this is this is a family that has a nested family of this one cabinet, which gets arrayed based on how far I stretch. And then we have an extrusion that sits on top. And the nice thing is as you draw this object, I'll say create similar here and draw another one. It is smart enough to know, how far you are and how many it can fit in. So it'll basically truncate it so that it only fits as many in as it can, and then it extrudes the top across there. So we're going to make that family inside of here. So I'll just start by moving this into place, and then I'm going to just close off. Maybe I'll leave this project open like this, and I'll say new family. So I'm going to go in here and say new family, and in there I'm going to pick a generic line-based family. So I'm going to go generic line-based. Okay, that's the template file that I want. That's important, critical that I start with that. Starts with one parameter for length. I'm going to take that length parameter right off the bat, pick on here and change it to be a little bit bigger. Make it at least 10 feet. So 10 feet, hit OK. Boom, makes that a little bit bigger. Now what I want to do is load in the cabinet family into this family. So nested family in a family. So I'm going to say insert. I'm going to say load family, and I'm going to go to my casework, and I'm going to go to base cabinets, and I'll grab a base cabinet double door with base cabinet double with drawers. Okay, so I'm going to load that in, hit OK, loads it into my family, not my project. So then I go to families, and under casework, there I have base cabinet. I'm going to use the 30-inch, which is 2.5 feet. So I'm going to take that guy, I'm going to drag it in. I'm going to use my space bar to rotate it around. It's going to snap to those reference planes and reference lines, and I'm going to hit escape, escape. Now what I'm going to do is create some parameters. I'm going to create a new parameter in here, and I'm going to call it number of cabinets. And typo, number of cabinets. I'm going to make it instance, and I'm going to make it an integer, just a basic whole number around. So I sit and I'm going to group it under probably general and then hit OK. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number of cabinets, and I'm going to say the number of cabinets is a formula, and it's going to equal the length divided by the cabinet, which is 30 inches, so 2'6". And then I'm going to hit apply. Boom. So it's smart enough to know that 10 feet, the length, divided by 2'6" gives me 4 cabinets. So I'm going to be able to use that number. Okay. I'm also going to make another parameter in here while I'm at it and call it counter length. And I'm going to make that instance, and it's going to be a length parameter, and I can group it under dimensions and hit OK. Okay, and the counter length is going to also be a formula, and the counter length is going to be equal to the length. No, it's going to be equal to the number of cabinets times, which is an asterisk, 2'6", which is equal to 10 feet. Now, it just so happens that 2'6" works out equally with 10 feet, but watch what happens if I make this 11 feet and then hit apply. Okay. What happens is my cabinets don't change and the length of the countertop doesn't change because the length of the countertop is always equal to the number of cabinets times the length of the cabinet. So when I change this to be 12 feet and hit apply, okay, all of a sudden I get an extra cabinet because I have 12 feet. 30 inches will work into that, and we'll see how that works out. Okay, so I can hit OK on that and click out. So I've created some parameters, and now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to say array. So I'll use the regular array tool. I'm going to say the number of objects, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to start with 3, and I'm going to say move to the second point. So I'm just going to go from here to here. That defines the length, and I've said to put in 3 units. So I click out and click out. So I'm almost there. Now watch what happens. I'm going to pick on this one of these cabinets. Okay, right now at this point, if I go to a 3D view, I've got my 3 cabinets in like this. Okay, back to my floor plan. If I pick on any one of these, what happens is this. Watch. As you pick on one of them, if you hover down, don't pick the blue number. Pick the actual line. Watch. Pick. Now I can change that value of that to be the parameter number of cabinets. Boom. All of a sudden, it knows how many cabinets to put in there. Okay. So now let's go to a 3D view. Okay. So now inside of here, I can say, okay, let's flex it, go back to our properties and say, well, what if our length is only 8 feet? Hit apply. It's going to shorten it up a little bit. It's going to only put 3 in. Okay, what if I go to 9 feet? Hit apply. Not going to do too much. Oh, it did fit one in. Let's go 9. Let's go 10 feet. Hit apply. Nothing. Go to 11 feet. Hit apply. Nothing. Go to 12 feet. Hit apply. All of a sudden, there's enough room for another cabinet. Okay, go in here and put 3 feet. Hit apply. Oh, arrays don't like to have 1. You need to have 2. So this is going to have to be at least 5 feet, which is 30 inches times 2. You can't have an array of 1, or at least not without doing a little bit of jumping through some hoops. So 5, 6 feet should not give us any difference. 7 feet, no difference. All of a sudden we go to 8 feet and watch our numbers change. Boom. Now we got a third one in here. And notice that now the counter length doesn't equal 8 feet. It equals 2'6" times this. So first this has to be divided by. So we take the length divided by this gives us this. And this equals this times this, which isn't always equal to this, which is quite nice. Now let's deal with the extrusion on the countertop, which is going to be equal to the counter length. That's what we're dealing with. So let's create, we know the extrusion is kind of going this way, so let's go in here and say create extrusion, and let's say set work plane, and I'm going to say pick a plane, hit OK, and I'm going to pick on this surface right here. Pick. And then I'm going to just draw some lines. I'm not going to worry about detail here. Zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to pick on here, go across, go down. I could type in some numbers, being very sloppy. And in fact, being a little bit too sloppy. Let's go TL on the keyboard and draw some lines again. Go down here. Let's go down 2 inches. Boy, what's going on here? Do I need to hold my shift button in? And there we go, 2 inches, and then shift come across. Shift up again. Bring it over. Up. And then escape pick up here. As I go up, it should pick up that. Okay. Pick on here, do a shift middle mouse button, Grab some of this stuff, nudge it over with your arrow key. Grab this guy, nudge it up. Okay. And we're going to set, let's just put a default length of 3 in here and hit apply. Hit OK. And of course it's going in the wrong direction. So what we're going to do is this. Watch, we're going to pick and drag this over here. We'll notice that this is going to give us a negative number, which is okay. So now to get this to work, we need to do a little bit of aligning. I'm going to say align to this surface, this, and lock it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the length of this and give it a parameter. But watch what I have to do first. I have to make it a negative number. I'm going to go in here and say the counter length equals, you need to add one more thing in here. I'm going to do a bracket, number of cabinets, number of cabinets divided by 2'6" times -1. Watch what happens to the 7'6". Boom. Makes it negative. Hit OK. Click out. Now watch. I'm going to pick on here and say the extrusion start is 0, which is fine. Extrusion length is counter length. Hit OK. It's going to put that number in for me. Perfect. SD on the keyboard. Okay, you can read up some more about materials. Oh, all of a sudden that's hanging down too low. We go back in here, edit the extrusion, pick on here, move that guy up, way up, finish it, click out, looks good. Okay, now we should save this, so we should go in here and do a save, and I will, so I'll say save as. Family, and we'll put it right there in my documents and call it family 2. And then we will go in and say load to project. Load it into project 1. We've got our previous one inside of there, but in the meantime I can click on here and again I'm going in the wrong direction. I'll hit escape and pick again. Use my shift key, pick on there, hit escape, escape. So even if I was in a floor plan, okay, I'm using Revit 2013 here, and I started with a mechanical template file, so I just want to change my discipline to be architectural. So if I go down here to my families, I can go grab that family 2, click on here, drag it in, click, and place it. And if I take these guys and erase them, delete, go to my 3D view, and do a ZF for zoom to fit, shift middle mouse. I need to pick something first, shift middle mouse. Okay, so that's kind of just a nice way of creating a family, and then once it's inside of here you can pick on your grip and use your shift key to keep it nice and straight, and then you can drag it down, pick on there, and it'll place it. So it'll always take the length and truncate it to fit as many 30-inch cabinets in there, and then your countertop will always be the right size. So there you can take that information and use it to create your own families by taking, this one is interesting because it's a product of a nested family and some local geometry right inside there as well.